Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today talking about the latest for Fallout 76. Just a couple of days ago, we were talking about how Bethesda's facing their worst problem yet for Fallout 76 as players pollute the Fallout 76 play space with hacking. But some may say it's just to make things interesting. And now Bethesda is, I believe, trying to divert our attention elsewhere. But if you want the full story on what's happening with the hacking in Fallout 76, just one click on the link in the description down below will take you there. Today we're focusing on the Wastelanders update as well as the delay to the Steam version for Fallout 76 that Bethesda had promised for 2019. It seems that delays have become a theme for Bethesda as of late. Let's hope it pays off. But now we're going to begin with the Wastelanders update, which I will have linked in the description down below. It's from the Inside the Vault series. Let's get going. Whether you're a new dweller stumbling out of the cozy confines of Vault 76 for the first time, or an experienced wasteland explorer, you may want to stop by the vault to meet Lacey and Isela. Isela? Iggy Azalea? I don't know. All right, moving on. These curious settlers hunt for answers to questions that brought them to Appalachia in the first place, and might be able to help new players on their journey. In exchange for your answers, they will also lead you toward the Wayward. Now, we'll get into what the Wayward is in just a second, but what I want to establish here first and foremost is Bethesda's very clear goal with Fallout 76 Wastelanders. It seems like they're trying to build from the ground up and fill out the world as if it would be a traditional Fallout game. Meeting people as soon as you exit the vault who can then guide you down a path is exactly something that I think this world needs, is that instant human contact, because a lot of people are going to be coming back to Fallout 76 and a lot of them are joining up for the first time for this update. Absolutely, whether you love it or hate it, wherever you stand on this game, lots of people are going to check it out. And it's because Wastelanders are coming back. So Bethesda's, as you can tell here, strategically placing them all around the map to make sure encounters are instantaneous, and hopefully they fill up the map with all of them, because that's what's going to save this game as far as I'm concerned. It gets me a little excited as we get into this story on the potential here with Wastelanders. I don't have confidence in Bethesda's ability to execute, but the potential here, I can't lie, is exciting because they're really hitting the reset button here essentially. And as a Fallout fan, despite what happened with 76, I still love all the other Fallout games. I will say I hope that this does end up working out, but let's continue reading on. The wasteland has been evolving since people have begun to return. As you explore, you will find many locations are now inhabited or have been built up as more arrivals seek new lives in Appalachia. One such encampment is the Wayward, a fledgling waterhole not far from the Overseer's camp in the forest. Inside this new instance location is where you will meet Duchess and Mort. Another important aspect to realize here is Bethesda's creating a whole new main quest for these Wastelanders, and keep in mind that so far things have been parallel with the main quest. When you exit the vault, before we had Wastelanders, that's where the main story had just picked up, and then you went to the Overseer's camp. Same thing here. You exit the vault, you meet some Wastelanders, and then you can head over to the Wayward, which is near the Overseer's camp. You see how they're kind of parallel? They're filling out those parts of the world. Bethesda actually provided pictures to go along with some of their explanations. So right here we can see the Wayward, which we will enter, and then we will meet Duchess. Now here's Bethesda's explanation for who Duchess is. The stalwart owner and proprietor of the Wayward, which she built and brought into the Appalachia in hopes of providing an inviting atmosphere and stiff drinks to anyone seeking a place to recharge, for a fee, of course. Recently, she's had a string of visitors stop in, asking some very pointed questions and acting aggressively. While she and Mort are more than capable of handling a few troublesome patrons, they wouldn't refuse a bit of help finding out who these people are and what they're after. And now we can take a good look at Duchess, and I'm just going to be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, this chick's a Desdemona wannabe as far as I'm concerned. I mean, from top to bottom, pretty identical, just a different t-shirt. Maybe it's just the hair. I don't know. Anyway, as the Wayward's most loyal regular, Mort spends a lot of time here, running up his bar tab and lending his hand to Duchess when needed. Mort's also got a knack for exploring. He has traversed a large swath of the forest and has managed to figure out how camps work. If you ever need a bit of insight into the surrounding area or a refresher on camps, Mort's your ghoul. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, going along, helping out beginners. Quite honestly, as someone who's put about 80, 90 hours into Fallout 76, sadly, I can't say this stuff necessarily excites me. I think this is good for new players because once again, you're going to have that human NPC interaction with all the game systems, from the questing to the introduction of the world to camps now. As you can see, once more, I need to emphasize Bethesda is trying to build from the ground up. I believe what we're seeing here with Wastelanders is truly what Bethesda wanted to make with Fallout 76. I think pretty much everything that's been added into the vanilla game at this point was sort of at the wayside. It was just establishing the world, the universe, until the platform was ready to support these NPCs entering the world. Duchess and Mort are just two of the many people and characters you'll meet during your travels after we've released Wastelanders. One of our main goals with this update isn't just to add NPCs to push your story forward, but to help Appalachia feel more alive now that people are making their way back into the area. You will not only encounter new faces during the main story, but throughout the game in new encounters, in combat, encampments, and even as they go about their daily lives. We believe Appalachia will feel much livelier when Wastelanders launches next year, and we can't wait to see what you think. Look, man, that was my number one complaint with 76 out of everything. You know, you hope one day the bugs would go away, the glitches would stop. It doesn't seem Bethesda stopping there. But my number one complaint was absolutely how dead the world felt by one of my very favorite game developers, to have a world come out from them and feel so totally dead was disappointing beyond belief. I am interested to see what they have put together here. When you combine that with the conversation system, there is loads of potential. But the reason I think this is more of a divergence tactic than actually giving us information on what we want to see is because they just talk about two characters in some of the introduction segments. Why would they do that now? Unless there is a pretty bad breaking story that they want people to take their eyes off them, so they go over here instead. I don't know. I don't think it was the wisest choice to drop this right now, but still, on top of all of this, we now have the Steam release to get into. Earlier this year, we had announced that Fallout 76 would be coming to Steam in 2019. Since then, we've received questions from some of you who are curious about when this will happen. Our launch on Steam is still on the way, but we've moved it closer to Wastelanders release in 2020. We still don't have additional details to share right now, but we will let you know as soon as we do. So once again, emphasis on Bethesda hitting the reset button. They are really expecting Fallout 76 to take off. They are planning a whole separate platform launch, the biggest PC platform in the world. They're launching that right next to Wastelanders. I'm curious if Fallout 76 will hit a top seller. I really am curious because, man, if anybody loves anything, it is video game resurgency, right? Like No Man's Sky is such a great comeback story. Even if I'm not a huge fan of the game, we love to see games like that bounce back. And I think deep down, no matter how stupid Bethesda's been, no matter how embarrassing these mistakes have been from them, we just hope that they can get their act together. And hopefully 2020 is a new chapter for them. Am I expecting that? Not really. But I can certainly hope, right? Like, I don't want the worst for them, so I can hope. What I'm also insanely curious about when it comes to Fallout 76 is gameplay systems, right? Like, we know Wastelanders are going to be added. We know there's going to be hopefully better storytelling, or at the very minimum, something more interactive. We still don't know if the quest will be go here, kill this, and it's just going to be very basic, very simple. But what about new gameplay systems? Is Bethesda planning to add any of that to the overall package? Because a lot of what we've seen in previous updates has added new things to progress with, but in the terms of gameplay systems like crafting, upgrading, is there going to be any changes there in that realm of Fallout 76? Because, like it or not, that's a lot of what the game's about, and I don't know if it would make sense just to launch a big story update, although I am not going to be ungrateful if it's good. Just I feel like for returning fans, this has to be something that diversifies the pot for everybody. Think about it, right? Because they're talking about a lot of beginner things right now, which is great because I think they're planning for a lot of people to give their game a chance, which may either show foolishness or confidence or just a lack of awareness of what position they are in. It could be either of the three. But point being is that they're focusing on the beginning aspect. I'd like to know, as someone who's coming back into the game, what Bethesda has to offer for me, a returning fan, or for someone who's put hundreds and hundreds of hours in the game, what they have for them, right? I'm curious for those people as well as myself. It's good to know that beginners will be catered to, but I think even if they weren't, this stuff doesn't warrant an article. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the latest update on Wastelanders as well as the Steam release in the comments down below. Bethesda's hitting the reset button. How do you feel about all of this? Let me know. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to the patrons who allow me to talk about Fallout 76 frequently. I appreciate every single one of you. And to those of you who watched to this point in the video, thank you so much. I love all of you dearly. Do consider supporting my Patreon if you want to be featured at the end of these videos, as well as fueling all of the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.